Welcome to the channel, guys. My name is Jess. So Bitcoin has just recently closed one of the most important weekly candle closes for the month, resulting in what could possibly be the end of the recent downwards move. We're going to dive into the charts today to talk about the short time frame price action and of course the weekly close and how this might turn out to be the reversal. As always though, before we get into all that, make sure you guys smash that like button and subscribe to the channel to get regular Bitcoin analysis every Monday, Wednesday and Saturday. If you're after even more content, be sure to check out my free Telegram, and if you're interested in my VIP channel, you can get more details over here. VIP gives you exclusive access to my personal trading setups with exact entry points, targets and stop losses. So diving into the video, guys, let's really quickly talk about the recent price action before we dive into our analysis. So coming up into the weekly candle close, we had just had quite a bearish week, right? Starting off with a fake out above $100,000, only to quickly reject from 102 and fall right back into our macro channel of consolidation, right? Our horizontal channel. And on the weekly time frame, things had started to look quite bad as the candle had started to surpass the opening price of the prior week's bullish candle over here, right? We're talking about this weekly candle close. However, just this morning, we've managed to close the candle at around 94,300, failing to engulf the prior week's candle and preventing a high time frame bearish continuation potentially beyond $91,000 macro support and into this huge volume gap that we have here on the high time frame, taking Bitcoin all the way back down to this $70,000 sort of region. So in saying that, now that we know that we have sort of prevented that macro bearish continuation, we need to figure out now whether or not this candle that has tested macro support as well as resistance will lead to a reversal and a bullish continuation back above the range here and to $108,000. Before we get into the rest of the video, guys, let's hear a quick word from our sponsor, BTC, where you can get 15% off all of your trading fees and up to $5,500 in sign-up rewards when you create your free account using the link down in my description box. BTC is an emerging cryptocurrency exchange committed to providing you with a secure, convenient, and highly functional trading and investment platform. Available across all countries as a non-KYC exchange, get global access to over 150 trading pairs with minimal fees on both spot and futures contracts. Join today to get $5,500 in sign-up rewards and get 15% off all of your trading fees by signing up using the link in my bio or by using the code 1GG3 when you create your account. So on the shorter time frame charts, there are many levels of resistance that exist within our sort of macro channel over here, and those are namely the ones that we can chart out using the prior highs within the prior downtrend, right? The one that took us from $100,000, the falling back into that sort of range and back towards the range low at 91,000. So the very first one is the one that we have been struggling against for the last couple of days, and that sits at $94.8 to $95,000. And if you pull up this Smart Money Concepts indicator, you can see that right there. Now, over the last couple of days, we can see that Bitcoin started to actually chop in a very, very small range over here. I think it's only about 1% wide or high. Let's have a look. 1.7%. against that upper level of resistance there, and we've actually just recently broken above the sort of range high mapped out in that horizontal channel. So that is actually quite bullish. We've headed into the weekly candle close with a bullish close, and the price action on the short time frame is starting to flip the narrative. We're starting to see a little bit of strength gather here, breaking out of consolidation ranges on the short time frame. We just need to see that it's enough. So on the short time frame, what this breakout tells us is that we have a measured move that pushes Bitcoin all the way up to retest the range high for that prior downtrend over here, sitting at 97,000. That is the next level of resistance. And if we zoom out to the 4-hour time frame as well, we can see that level just here again, right? We have one just above that, and the end of that sort of liquidity zone, if we take it right down to the wick there, actually shows us that pushing above that range high pushes Bitcoin into the sort of liquidity zone at that range of resistance, and in flipping support, we can expect a continuation to retest $100,000. If we zoom in even further on the short time frame into a 15-minute chart, what we can actually see is really interesting as well. So on this 15-minute chart here, we can see a developing structure that exists within that short time frame horizontal channel that we had there on the hourly chart, being an ascending broadening wedge, right? We have a horizontal base of resistance over here. That is the base of our wedge. And we have very clear developing high highs. So it's showing us that the price action, as we chop within this range, is developing increasing volatility, right? And that tells us that eventually at the break, we're going to experience a large measured move, being the height of the wedge, right? So if that is a bullish break from the breakout point that takes us above the range high resistance here at $97,000 and into that liquidity zone that we mapped out on the 4-hour time frame, that would be very, very bullish, right? Pushing us into that zone. If we close in that zone, we can flip it as support. We can expect that continuation to 100K. And on the flip side, breaking below the broadening wedge here, we have a potential measured move that takes Bitcoin right back down to retrace macro support at $91,000, right? So both of them are quite distinctive moves. Generally speaking, this sort of wedge formation entered into from the top side down, so entered into from a downtrend, results in a reversal, so a bullish reversal here. Now what we're waiting for then is a close above this trend line, and most likely as well, we'll need to see a close above this upper range of resistance at 95,800 because, you know, structural patterns aren't the only thing that exists. We also have horizontal levels of resistance that exhibit selling pressure. So from a technical perspective, things are definitely shaping up for Bitcoin to suggest a high probability of a bullish reversal over here, particularly with those confirmation levels and that bullish break of this sort of short time frame bullish structure. However, that does not guarantee that we're going to see a higher time frame bullish continuation. What we need to see in order to actually establish a continuation strong enough to push us to the range high resistance or the all-time high resistance at $108,000 is a daily candle close above $100,000, and of course we need to crack 102K resistance as well. So what we failed to do in the prior rally earlier on in this week, in that fake out and then, you know, breakdown, was establish support at this level of resistance from 99.5 to 100K, right? That blue sort of rectangle. We can see historically when we've managed to flip that level as support, we've established a bullish continuation. So when we broke below that, we continue to travel within the range. So we need to exit the range and test the top of that as support, flip that level in order to see a push up to 102, push that level, find support, and then break above, right? That all needs to happen in order to see a high time frame bullish continuation. As of right now, though, what the short time frame price action is telling us is that we have a high probability after this weekly close and as the short time frame charts develop of seeing a retest of those levels of resistance once again, right? As opposed to another range low retest. So that is a wrap on the Bitcoin price action analysis. Things are definitely heating up on the charts over there, particularly on the short time frame, and hopefully this ends up leading to a genuine reversal and a high time frame continuation on the bullish perspective for Bitcoin. So moving on to the rest of the cryptocurrency market, how is the rest of it shaped to recover if Bitcoin does reverse? So what we can see from total 3 here is similarly promising. We've had a very, very nice weekly candle close in similarity to Bitcoin over here, failing to engulf the prior week's green opening price and bouncing on support, this crucial level at $950 billion. If we zoom into the short time frame price action, we can essentially see that total 3 is currently struggling between support at 950 billion and resistance mapped out by the prior high in this downtrend over here, right? Ranging from 1.04 trillion to 1.1 trillion. And that is the level that we need to break, and I guess the liquidity zone that we also want to enter and find support on before establishing a bounce and continuation to test the all-time high for the total 3 market cap and potentially push above, right? And enter price discovery, which would be, of course, very, very bullish, and see parabolic price action for altcoins. Now, the good thing about the recent price action is that despite the increasing volatility from Bitcoin and the bearish price action for Bitcoin, altcoins have actually managed to hold quite steady, most of them. If you look through most altcoin charts, other than maybe a small handful, most of them have been able to hold macro supports. And similarly on total 3, we've been holding above that sort of 50 EMA and the base of support here at $950 billion. If we end up seeing a continued correction for Bitcoin, and if we drop below macro support at $91,000 and enter that high time frame volume gap that I showed you guys on the weekly chart, It is very likely then that we see total 3 drop below 950 billion, this level of support here, and push in to retest the dead cat bounce level or the macro bullish validation at, I think it's 840 billion, right? So some really interesting price action here from alts, but overall the weekly close and the high time frame charts are showing us that even though we're not seeing strength per se, we're definitely seeing resilience, right? Altcoins are refusing to break down from those high time frame support levels and are prepped in that scenario then in a bullish reversal from Bitcoin to see strong rallying. Alrighty guys, that is all the analysis that I have for you today. If you enjoyed the video or you learned something, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. If you're after even more content, be sure to check out my free Telegram for daily updates as well as crypto and economic news. And if you're interested in my VIP channel, you can get more details over here. VIP gives you exclusive access to my personal trading setups with exact entry points, targets, and stop losses. And if you are a trader, don't forget to sign up down below to BitUnext to get 15% off all of your trading fees. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye!